Welcome to the Metal Prognosis. My name is Lee, and on today's video we are looking at the Djenttonic by Black Cat amps and pairing this up with a hybrid setup with some free VST plugins there and some free IR cabs as well to see what they can sound and see where we can take it. So let's start plugging stuff in and start having some fun. Okay, now everything's plugged in, ready to go. Grab a 7-string here. Now, just like the last video I did of this, or last style of video, I'm going to do the same thing. We'll add, where is it? Bring you in here, the Ignite amps. We'll bring in this. Okay. And we find, I think we did a clean. So let's give ourselves a little bit of monitoring and see what we've got so far before we bland, boring, but it's got some volume. We want better though. We want to really class this up. So firstly, before we get into super stuff, let's get into now C-Cow's IRs. I was thinking about this today because they do a lot of free stuff. They've got some cool stuff here. Let's just try this one and see how it goes. So, let's engage the Djenttonic and see what sounds we get straight off the bat. So that's with the warmth engaged. So the warmth, I love the warmth because it really pushes that top end and makes it really, what's the right word for it? Really bladey sounding, which I love. Even that's, I'm going to give myself more volume because that's sounding pretty rad just straight off the bat there. And that's pretty much everything, as you can see, just at 12 o'clock. So going from turning it off to turning it on, it works. So let's clean it up a bit. Let's see what else I've got here because I've got a few different free ones here. Let's just, I don't know. Now I don't want to fall too much into this trap because you can get analysis paralysis by just going through too much and then you get ear fatigue really quickly and don't remember which one you prefer. So let's just find one that pops a bit. First one might have been the best one. That's pretty cool. Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know if there is. Does this go through? I'm like, excellent. Not too bad. Sounds just a little bit airy. Not a bad thing, but that's sounding really good. Yeah, let's go for this one here, because this one stood out the most, I think. Was it? Or was it this one? So now let's try the warmth button that I love. So this will definitely scoop out all the bottoms and really push the treble and get that nice EQ curve and that grit and that bite. Yeah. Yeah, I love that sound, but it does take away a lot of the bottom end. But when you start doubling up on the guitars and when you add bass and drums, it cuts through nicely and gives it that nice aggressiveness that I love in the overall mix. So what I might do is I'll take a little bit of step away from the camera now, and I'll do 2 different takes. I'll do one with the warmth engaged and one without it, and leave all the settings as they are. Now I know normally I go through the EQs a little bit to see how they react and do it, but the warmth button is that, I don't know how to really describe it. I'm that impressed with the EQ curve that it just adds to it. I think that's really cool, and we'll just see how that is with that. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the 2 jams. And I'll mark which ones are on, which ones are off, and then we're going to have a chat about the difference between them on the other side. Time for some final thoughts of matching up the Djenttonic here by Black Cat amps with free VST plugins and free IRs, third-party IRs as well. So firstly, hooking it up with the Ignite amp. That worked really well. It felt very organic and natural playing through it. Not so much the clean part. Clean part's not bad, but we're here for the brutal tones. And when we actually engaged the brutal tones, it did actually feel very natural, and as I said before, very organic, which is cool. The IRs that we chose for this video I thought was really, really cool. So they're just free ones off the Seek How website. So they worked out really, really well. But I think the main highlight of this hybrid setup is, firstly, super cool, super easy, very cost effective, because everything except for Cubase, because I've got the purchase version of that, the full version. Other than my actual DAW, everything else is free. So if you do own a pedal like this, or this exact one, and you want to get brutal tones kind of in this same ballpark, very straightforward and very easily achieved, I think is the best way of describing it. But brought me to another different highlight of the actual warmth button on this. Because I've always juggled to think, do I prefer it on or off? That's actually not the dilemma. Because the conclusion is I always love it on and I always prefer it on, because I love how it has that real grind and grit and cut through in those higher dynamics of the guitar tone, especially when you really start leaning in on the guitar, on the strings with whatever sections you're amplifying. You can really hear it cut through that real rawness and brutal attack that I love. So normally it's a no-brainer for me. But what I decided to do was, while I was doing the mix down of them, I thought, what would it sound like blending them both in together? So not doing retakes, just purely blending them together. And that was the third mix that you got now. And I thought that was fascinating. So having it off, keeping that more warmer dynamic there, and then putting it on to really emphasize the aggressiveness and that anger in the guitar tone, I thought worked out the best out of all three of them. Having the warmth on, which is kind of like a boost, if you want to think of it in that regard. So having the boost on definitely made it better for the mix. It definitely cut through a lot more, and I felt like the guitars played a lot stronger part characteristic-wise to it. Not saying with it off is bad, but I felt like with it on just worked better. But I think, as I said before, having both of them there, I think is the best of all worlds. I think that worked best for the overall little tune and little jingle that I did, having them both there. So yeah, I thought that was a nice, interesting and pleasant little surprise that I wasn't planning for, and I enjoyed and liked. So definitely keen for what your thoughts are on this little hybrid setup and pretty much this whole video together, and how you felt about each three different mixes, if you're on the same page as me, or if I'm just getting too excited just because it happened now and it's new and exciting, and I might be overlooking something, which is absolutely a possibility as well. So yeah, lots of fun putting this video together. Really appreciate your company. So thank you very much for joining me on this little adventure, and I thoroughly look forward to chatting with you next time. And until next time, please stay safe.